My name is Harry. I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is December 30th, 2025. It is 1:31 p.m. Alright, so let's continue from where I left off earlier this morning. Alright, we're gonna start with this. What is this discussion all about? Why was British royal family member Camilla secretly contacting Thomas Markle Sr., forming a tactical friendship the same year Meghan married Prince Harry? Okay, I'm already seeing the dates. This is old. So the squad are bringing some question up. Camilla's secret calls to Meghan's dad, the Duchess of Cornwall, and Meghan's father have struck up a tactical friendship. New idea. Is that the name of the paper, whoever wrote this? August 2018. She was doing her tactic. Royal scandal: Camilla and Thomas Markle's secret calls. The Duchess of Cornwall and Meghan's father have struck up a tactical friendship. By Nikki Black. Who the hell is Nikki Black? Okay, who ordered Thomas Markle to mess up his daughter's wedding to Prince Harry? This is back in 2023. Who came up with that plan and why? Oh, the squad are bringing some question. Okay, this is where he was saying it was a plan to mess up the wedding.
So that may have been one of the things that upset her. And of course, the photographs were a setup. I was set up by a guy named Jeff Rayner and another guy named Dylan Howard, who was with American Media, I think. And the whole thing was a plan to actually mess up the wedding. I was just part of it. Basically, they went to my...
I don't understand. How...
Alright, so that's that. So it could have easily be that... You see how she stayed out of the conversation? She detonate the bomb and then she moved out the way. This is true, what the article says, that Camilla got herself involved in this. She pretty much set the motion to where we are now. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's very tactical. And right now, during Charles' reign, we should be talking about Princess Diana and the thing that Camilla got herself involved with a married man and all that. You don't hear them. You don't hear the paper talking about it. So she pretty much shift the conversation to Diana's kids. And then the other brother took the bait, whatever nonsense they put in his head, took the bait, and you see the dysfunction between the two brothers. If William had kept that agreement to not deal with the tabloid, do you know how powerful those two brothers would have been in the UK? Okay? Charles will be last thought, even though he's the king or whatever, but Princess Diana's kids would have been more powerful than Charles. And things will be, whatever they said, and even though they're not, William is not the king, but because of ethical kind of thing, and not dealing with the papers and the, with Harry's type of compassion, and put it together if William had a mind, okay, or at least follow or listen to Harry. Do you know how powerful these kids, those two brothers, would have been? The people would have been behind them 1000% to a certain extent. you know? So she knew what she was doing. You don't hear the tabloid, you know, even though they pretty much are her buddies, her friend, you don't hear anything being said about her behavior during Princess Diana's marriage to Charles. Oh my God. Alright, why indeed? This further highlight why Caroline Graham, Camilla's biographer and columnist for the Daily Mail, is at the center of the controversy. December 29, yesterday. Camilla is right into the core. Yeah, white people will put aside their differences and status to work with each other against black people, even if they don't like each other. They will always gang up on any cause that support their racist bigotry. I'm not surprised sneaky Camilla climbed into Thomas Markle's DM to both denigrate Meghan. It's said that the father, you know, aligned with them. That's the sad part of it for me. Okay, we already know this is not to discredit or give an excuse for the royal family. They are right into the core that, yeah, that's that. But what's really sad is that the father, who should have protected the daughter, didn't do that, but instead aligned with them and did that. I won't expect anything less from that funky Rottweiler skank. They can never wash and rinse the stench of that thing. That neighborhood bicycle knows her game so well. Yeah, it's sad. Bag it for God. Alright, let's go to the next tweet. This is a video. I might have to edit them tonight. I want to go to the gym later. Okay, UK media talk as if they were besties with Harry when he's always despised them. The quote from that photograph about the last pic taking is still chilling, repugnant. Harry always wanted to leave. Meghan then still or strong arm him away. All right. Oh my God, this is long. 6 minutes and 4 seconds.
Version of Harry. But the Harry that we knew, that we grew up with. You know, I'm the same age as Harry, so I, you know, like many people in the country, I've watched him grow up. And we kind of know him. And then what happened was he met Meghan and he seemed to change, and the public really took against that.
And I said to him, have you ever thought about moving away? And he was like, yeah, I'd love to move away, but I can't because of what I need to do to support the Queen. And that has just stuck with me forever in terms of, he didn't say it on camera, he just said it in a really candid chat with me. And so whenever anyone says to me, it was Meghan's fault that they left, that conversation always springs to mind, because he always had it in him, this potential to jump. And I think Meghan came along and said, hold my hand and we'll jump together.
But it was the sense of duty that kept him there then. It was the sense of duty to the Queen that meant that he didn't want to jump. But
and then how things changed. But then within the interview, I did sort of ask him whatever I wanted to ask him, and I said, Princess Charlotte's just been born, would you like to have kids? And he came out with this brilliant line, I'd love to have kids right now, but there's a process that you have to go through, to which his communications team kind of took a bit of an intake of breath, like, oh my goodness, why did he say that? But then he also went on to say about how he just wanted to have someone alongside him to support him. And then what was it, a couple of years later, he met Meghan. But yeah, that line, it went global. It just went mad. But that was a great trip. That was Harry and
remember that Stuart Island trip, because we remember the quiz night.
Yes.
Unfortunately, every single story was complete lies, which which always is, basically, which is a shame. But, you know, it's something I'd love to do, and, you know, now I've had the chance once, I suppose I've got quite into it. And at the end of the day, if you join the army, you expect to go on operations. I don't want to sit around at Windsor because I just generally don't like England that much, and, you know, it's nice to be away from all the press and the papers and the general shite that they write.
It's too risky for you to go back as a soldier.
More the fact that I think the media had said that they would never keep their mouths shut if I went and did the same job, so I'd have to do something different if I wanted to go, yes.
With the media following his every moment, Harry can't hide his irritation.
Are you enjoying getting stuck in? Not really with you guys.
Tour of Afghanistan, Harry's exasperation, even loathing of the press, has shone through loud and clear.
my father always says don't read it. Everyone says don't read it because it's always rubbish. I'm surprised how many people in the UK actually read it. I mean, everyone's guilty for buying the newspapers, I guess, but hopefully no one actually believes what they read, which I certainly don't. But yeah, of course I read it. If there's a story that something's being written about me, I want to know what's being said. But all it does is just upset me and anger me that people can get away with writing the stuff they do, not just about me, about everything and everybody.
And that mistrust of the press, I mean, how far back does that go? Is that something that's
I think it's fairly obvious how far back it goes, to when I was very small.
Very sorry. I am very sorry, because my actions were ruthless, but they were, and I'm not making an excuse, but they were ruthless because I was greedy, and because I was into my cocaine, and I was living in a fake state of grandeur.
What sort of culture in a media allows...
Ruthless. They absolutely have got no morals.
And when you look back on what you did, specifically on the Princes, how does it make you feel?
Bad. Because I basically was part of a group of people that robbed him of his normal teenage years.
So this private investigator was one of many who was employed by some UK newspaper groups in what is now known as the phone hacking scandal, when the unethical and sometimes illegal methods used by some newspapers to get stories, including accessing voicemails, came to light. Since then, various victims of this large-scale and unlawful news-gathering operation, including Prince Harry, have been bringing legal action against two of Britain's biggest newspaper groups. Gavin Burrows is now providing evidence in the legal actions against the publisher of the News of the World and The Sun, but his claims are strongly disputed by them. Solicitor Callum Galbraith is coordinating those actions.
The scale of use of private investigators was absolutely phenomenal, particularly by the News of the World, probably from the early 90s all the way up until 2011. And I'd say millions of pounds was spent to get this information.
What was the appeal of these private investigators to the tabloids?
They were able to get information quickly. They weren't able, but they did use unlawful techniques to obtain that information, and it enabled the newspapers to compete with each other.
But as things stand right now, the position of the Sun newspaper...
And being with the Duke of Sussex, seeing the same guy take the same picture almost every week as we were coming out of a certain restaurant, I said, look, why are you taking the same picture? You must have hundreds of pictures of us. I doubt it's a fashion thing to critique the Duke's clothing on this particular night. Why are you taking the same photo over and over again? And the gentleman just simply replied back to me, this may be the last picture of him alive. And that to me is worth a lot of money.
This is sad. So the video was so long, I try not to say anything to not make it longer. Where was it? I think it was here at the beginning when she started talking, and lucky I let it play because I was thinking of the next video that came, because I have that video. I was gonna put it. All right, let's see here. Let's pause. It is totally psycho behavior. All of them need to be in a straitjacket and placed in a padded room, heavily medicated. All right, sobering film. Why do you take the same picture of Harry leaving the same restaurant every week? Because it may be the last photo of Harry alive. That reminds me what happened in New York, the chase, because I don't even want to think about it. That to me is worth a lot of money. Who think like that? Crazy people. Thank goodness Harry has Meghan. Get the F over it. People living through others by curiously and getting upset when the person decided to live their lives. Make it make sense. Yeah, and did they expect Harry to remain a baby? Okay, a teenager, so they could take advantage of him? Harry grows up. He is the only one who actually think of the steps and things that he wants to do. When he said he wants to make raise a family, he's like, there's a process. He wants to make sure the person, I'm assuming, and we sort of know, that the person can handle the situation. Not anybody could be Harry's wife. he knew what he wanted. He wanted someone who would be able to handle the crazy, his crazy family. All right, and I think I'm glad he waited and make sure to find someone he truly loved that could handle it. And the thing is that both of them then expect the kind of treatment that they got, that they receive. Okay, all the checkbox probably for him checked, that Meghan been in front of a camera, been doing charitable work, all sort of thing. I think Meghan is even overqualified to be his wife. But, love has, hit people a different way. When the love hit the heart, there's nothing you can do. But at least they got that down packed. But in terms of the work aspect of it, Meghan is overqualified. Okay, and Harry knows that. This is why he's like, he knows what he got. Okay, next tweet. It seems like that fake poll is gaining Meghan even more support. I love it when what they intend for evil ends up doing good. Oh, did they do another poll again? Like I was talking about that, not the poll, but in the video I just finished edit about when they're talking negative about Meghan, what they did in New York. Okay, the father don't want countries that he goes to provide security.
In which I would be bringing, I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point. I was born into this position. It wasn't a choice. I've served my country for 35 years. I believe that I am still continuing to serve my country. Public service is my life. That is the dedication that will never change. And then all the other bits and pieces that are added to that. There are very, very real threats that exist out there. Some that are known about, some that are being withheld. And for people in power and responsibility of decisions to know that those threats and risks exist, but to turn around and say, well, because you don't have an official role, your life doesn't actually matter anymore. Well, you can imagine how I feel about that, but you can also imagine, not even imagine, that is the most illogical argument in the history of arguments. At this point, I'm feeling very let down. The press themselves have incited so much hatred towards myself, my wife, and even our children, that's hard to forgive. I actually couldn't believe it. I thought with all the disagreements and all of the chaos that's happening, the one thing that I could rely on is my family keeping me safe. And not only did they decide to remove my security in the UK, but they also signaled to every single government around the world not to protect us. I would love reconciliation with my family.
But what they tried to do in New York ended up, thank God protect them, and I think God was with them. The chase in New York ended up having where NYPD said they will provide security for them whenever they are in New York because of what happened. All right, be careful what you wishes. As man proposes, the heavenly Almighty God disposes. Me too. With all the horrible people in the world abusing innocent victims, putting her at the top of that pole was ridiculous. Clearly, that's not a real pole. They always do too much and expose themselves. Yeah, they don't try to be somewhat in the middle. They always go to the extreme. I didn't even see the pole. But past pole, when they're doing their polling, and I was like, my God, they always go to the extreme. They never do the sensible things, but it opened people's eyes. Okay, 100%, the House of Windsor has set their own downfall while Meghan continues to rise using the same scenario they did in the 80s, the 90s, okay, 80s to the 90s with Diana, and eventually got away with her demise. All right, they have no playbook and they never learn. Their ploy have worked on so many of the rich, famous, and powerful in the past. They just know this one last time, the clown, will take her down for good, and here we are. All right, and this is why I keep on saying we need to keep on praying because they will never stop. All right, can't access this site either. All right, let's go to the next tweet. I didn't see the poll that they're doing, but I'm assuming if the squad are talking about it, it's because there's one out there. Someone saw it. All right, next tweet. Let me pause this. Of course, Royal Mail isn't meeting target, just like the Royal aren't meeting expectations. Meanwhile, taxpayers foot the bill for royal luxuries. Time for a serious change in priorities. Abolish the monarchy. It's a minute and 14 seconds. Screenshot.
Last month, we posted mail from a postbox in all 4 nations across the UK. 50 letters from each capital city, so 200 letters in total. And we sent them to 25 urban and rural addresses across the UK. Now, a first-class stamp costs £1.70 and should be delivered the next working day, and that includes Saturdays. A second-class stamp costs 87p and should be delivered within 3 working days. But our research found over a quarter of first-class mail failed to arrive within a day. And over a third of second-class post was also late. However, we did find a 7% improvement in the first-class post service after carrying out the same investigation in March. The regulator Ofcom requires Royal Mail to deliver 90% of first-class mail on time and 95% of second-class mail. And in October, Royal Mail was fined for failing to meet its targets. Now, Royal Mail says the overwhelming majority of post is delivered on time over the course of the year. Be interested to know what you think.
Okay. I don't know the full situation of that, but I would have assumed when the mail is going out, courier to travel or whatever, they're not gonna hold it based on the price. Anything, you know, whatever airplane that's gonna take it or trucks that's gonna take it away, it will go to the next one. Okay? But whatever, this is that, I don't know. I thought it was about the royal family. Let me leave that alone. Next tweet. This is a TikTok video. I don't want this video to be too long. Alright, so let's see here. The UK media's obsession with Harry and Meghan spending Christmas at Sandringham with the toxic royal family. When okay, 27. This was posted the 27. Why are the UK media so obsessed with Harry and Meghan's Christmas plans? So I'm a little bit late, very late, 5 days late. So let's listen to that.
Merry Christmas, the same conversation comes up in the UK media. Were Harry and Meghan invited to Sandringham or not? This year they weren't invited. I don't even think they give a ish. Let's be real for a second. Do you really think that they want to spend Christmas in our drafty old castle in the English countryside with rigid traditions that they already opted out of? Adults only Christmas lunches, children sent off in the back with nannies, super formal everything. Sounds festive, right? Instead, they're in California with their children, enjoying the good weather, creating their own traditions. That's not exile, that's a choice, honey. And honestly, the fixation on whether they're invited or not says way more about the UK media and the royal family than it does about Harry and Meghan. I'm sure Harry prefers eating Doria's gumbo to whatever those chefs prepare at Sandringham for Christmas. And I'm sure they much prefer being around their kids, opening presents, laugh, and have a good time than a rigid schedule. Because not everyone dreams of Christmas at Sandringham. Some people prefer peace, their children, and their own traditions. I'm Michaela Ian, and this is The Culture Take.
I did talk about this scenario, about the 50-50. You know, when they will take the time to be with their family and when they will, if the 50-50 were accepted, where the way that I put it, where from the summer till this time around, January, that'll be their time, because this is, you'll have Thanksgiving, you'll have Halloween, okay? What else? Halloween, Thanksgiving, and then you have Christmas, you got New Year's. These are family gathering. I think they would have picked that part to be with themselves, with the family. And then come January till June, that's where they would have been doing probably work for the royal family. Okay? So, and I was like, I just don't see how it is fun when those kids are around the royal family with suit and tie. You know, kids love to run around and play with their friends, but instead it seems like, you know, I don't know how they do things, but based on what I'm seeing, they have to dress properly with suit and tie. They can't even move properly. Oh, they give Harry and Meghan a huge favor, because I just don't see how this being with the royal family as fun. They, the royal family, elevate themselves, put themselves on a pedestal, but when you take your magnifying glass and you look deeper, it's all crappy. It's not fun. These people are living to perform, to show people this is, what prestige is. But when you look deep down, you see all nonsense. Prince Andrew, for instance. All right, so there's no comment. Let's go to the next tweet. Okay, what is this here? All right, let me pause for a second. Okay, I switch it over. Let's see this here. See how this lie continues to be repeated. Diana lost her British police security in the divorce proceedings when she lost her HRH titles. Charles demanded it. She then dropped her security. She only had security when her sons were with her. All right. Let's see here. If Diana knew this, she'd still be alive. Let's see here.
He can say to himself quite legitimately, if my mother had been briefed at the time that she could have been and should have been briefed about what had happened, there's every prospect that she would be alive today. She would have known that the person that she trusted was not to be trusted, and therefore the other things that he told her were not to be believed.
Sacking her driver, sacking her other people.
All of those sorts of things. She finds herself, when you get to Paris, in the sort of ramshackle security operation run by Mohammed Arfai. His driver's drunk and he's taking drugs and he's doing whatever he's doing,
That's the thing they want to tell us, okay? This is the narrative they want the public to know.
In October 1996, Princess Diana flew to Italy to be given a medal for her contribution to humanitarian work, especially in the field of public health. When she had attempted to withdraw from public life back in 1993, she had insisted on her Scotland Yard bodyguards being permanently removed, apparently because she was worried that they might be spying on her. But without royal protection, Princess Diana was increasingly being thrown to the lions.
I think it's much more than that. Okay, someone who's gonna drive Princess Diana and her companion, there's no way the person's gonna go to the job drunk. And then underpass where people cannot see. Please, okay, they did what they need to do, and then I don't have proof of what I'm saying, but these people are making up stuff.
There was no way that Diana would have been in that situation, and that is what is so heartbreaking today, in particular for Prince William, because he can say to himself quite legitimately, if my mother had been briefed at the time that she could have been and should have been briefed about what had happened, there's every prospect that she would be alive today. She'd be 64 years old with 5 grandkids. If the BBC had done what I firmly believe they should have done when they had that information.
Let's just say the only way I could take this is that at least her son, Harry, learn from her accident and improve on it and make sure that his family, his wife, doesn't experience that, because the father, and the brother was trying to do the same thing to him. So in a way, not that I'm happy it happened or anything like that, but Harry, who has his head on his shoulder, learn from past history. So it didn't go in vain to a certain extent. That's the way that I'm taking it. But these people in the UK are evil. They knew what they were doing.
They don't report the news, they create it. And they've successfully turned fact-based news into opinion-based gossip with devastating consequences for the country. So I know the story all too well. I lost my mother to this self-manufactured rabidness, and obviously I'm determined not to lose the mother to my children to the same thing.
Charles and the royal mother circulated this lie after her death. When the public was asking why she didn't have British security with her, they tried to cover it up by saying she refused security. That's a complete lie. Yeah. Look how much work they're making Harry go through. Did the royal family learn from that? No. All right, another lie is reminiscent with what King Charles III and then Prince Charles the Cruel has been doing for years. Why any government institution worth its salt, will go along with the royal family micromanagement security details for the UK government. Seriously wicked, punitive, and revengeful. Vivek is nonsense here. Charles did to his own son Harry what he did to Princess Diana. First, by not providing security to Meghan at all unless it was a royal function, jeopardized her life. When Harry left, Charles, he used security as a tactic, knowing the threat they all receive. He didn't care. Yeah. Right. We've seen the CCTV footage. That man was not drunk. Okay. I would love, and like I was saying, the guy was going to work. You think he's gonna go to work driving these two high-profile people drunk? I don't think so. Okay. I would love to know, how did CO2 get into his bloodstream? I believe that they killed her and him and the ambulance. The ambulance took a little bit too long to arrive at its destination. Meant to take 10 minutes, it took 2 hours. What? It took that long? 2 hours? Oh, God. You man. Palace Chuck wanted Diana gone for good, because even in the divorce, Diana was forever overshadowing him. The same shit happening now with Harry and Meghan overshadowing the tampon and the laziest couple. Are you sure Pegging will say that? Same him who called his mother paranoid. Charles wanted her out of the way. Diana said it publicly that they were planning her death through a car accident, and that was exactly what happened. Her security was revoked, just as King Charles III and his heir did with the Sussexes, British royal family, a vindictive, evil family headed by the original mobster. Okay, Diana was off because divorcing Chaz will have given her half of Chaz's money, about $8.5 trillion. Baggage forgot. That's all. Baggage forgot. Let's go to the next one. This is the one that was there before, and I switch it over. I sort of done with royal family kind of conversation. All right. Let me say again. We invite segregation. Leave black people alone. I've lived in an all-black upper middle class community my entire life. Everyone should want to be with people who look like them. You will not bring your BS to our communities. All our home costs $1 million plus. Burns, don't it? And I'm on my second one. Go cry. No crime, no whites, and not one eye stooges roaming our neighborhoods. We do not want to live anywhere near you. Keep your ass in white wonderland and assume whatever you assume about culture and community is good. It keeps you out. Don't bother my digital footprint. It is 0. F off. Okay, let's see here. 1 minute and 52 seconds. Screenshot. Let me read it. This was a real nice neighborhood until this white move in. Let's see here.
Tiffany, please. Not today. I'm pretty sure the people who lived in Oscarville, which was drowned out by Lake Lanier, said this. I'm pretty sure the people who lived in Seneca Village, which is now Central Park, said this. The people who live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, who survived the massacre, say this. People in Brooklyn say this. Native Americans say this. Black Americans, South Africans, Haitians, black people all over the fucking world say this. Hawaiians say this. Puerto Ricans say this. Palestinians say this. Even the fucking deer. Well, she did more than say. She fucking shut up. Not only is it neighborhoods, it's towns, it's cities, it's islands, it's forest creatures, it's countries, it's the entire world holding your hand with a napkin and soap in between, since you had to be taught how to properly wash when we say this. The issue isn't that it's not being said. The issue is you're not listening because you're too busy coming in to kill, steal, and destroy. And it doesn't even stop there. Because after you finish taking over people's literal land, homes, schools, businesses, whatever you can get your disease-infested hands on, you move over to their culture. And then you try to justify that by saying, oh, cultures are meant to be shared. What culture are you sharing? The Christina Columbus Lopez gene? Like, nobody wants that shit. Y'all have no culture. Literally, your only culture is stealing shit. And that's why when it comes to other people's cultures, you always appropriate and never appreciate. You can't understand other people wanting to handle their spaces and culture with care because your only culture is to not care. It's just hair to you because your people never had to braid rice and seeds into their hair to survive or braid maps in their hair to escape to freedom. Everyone is screaming at you to leave us alone, but all your privilege allows you to hear is white noise. Hope this helps. Peace and love. Talk to you later.
Let's leave that alone. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's see this one. This one is 1 minute and 17 seconds. Black Education Station is a streaming TV network that provides a safe space for premium educational content created by Black educators and experts for the healthy development of Black children. All content is G-rated and appropriate for children 0 to 10 years old. Okay, this is the first time I'm seeing this. I mean, I put it on the list, but let's see here.
Has anybody heard of Black Education Station? Raise your hand if you've heard of Black Education Station.
I didn't.
One person. Did you know that there was literally a Netflix app out there, like app, that had educational content strictly for Black children called Black Education Station?
No.
You can find it in any app store, BESTV. Ownership. When people hear that, they say, is it on YouTube? No, it's not on YouTube. We own our own space where we can educate our own children. So I say that to all of you guys, not just to endorse them, but to say, think about it. There is a space out there that exists, and several other spaces that exist that are owned and controlled by us. Now that you have that knowledge, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to download the app or make excuses as to why you don't? You see? Ownership or slaveship?
Wow, that's the first time I'm hearing it. Hey fam, learn more, blackeducationstation.com. Just download it. It's getting it for my niece and nephew. Yeah, I need to tell my son. Right after I finish this, I'm gonna tell him. Let's go to the next one. And this is my last one. LOL, food. Okay, this is my last one. I just spit my coffee out. That's the laugh here. 38 seconds.
Yellow barbecue, okay? We've got our pineapple mayonnaise and cheese salad.
So you know that's why they talk about us, don't you? Talk about we can't cook, we don't season, cause shit like that right there, so. Y'all get on here putting all that stuff on the internet. We all ain't like that, y'all, I promise. Not all of us. Some of us love season. Some of us love food cooked right.
The chicken look
We don't
white.
all eat pineapple and mayo cheese and wings with a strip of sauce on it. What the hell?
Yellow barbecue.
What the hell is this? Is that chicken? It's not even cooked properly. What the? Did they just boil it and they put the sauce on top of it? Oh my god. What is that? Salt? That's a lot of salt. Okay, let me hear this.
Tonight for dinner, my husband is craving wings.
Boy, that nigga gonna get him. Shit. God damn, he gonna take one bite of them motherfuckers and get electrocuted. Like, golly, that nigga definitely gonna get some damn wings. Pretty wings, Maxwell wings, nigga. You angel wings. Fuck out of here. What the fuck that nigga do? What he do? All that? All that? This is an attempt. This is an AM. He trying to get that nigga gone. What the shit? Death by sodium. He gonna take one bite of that shit and his heart gonna just blow up. Just boom! Shit about it. Shit gonna happen to fucking. She the type of motherfucker to watch this nigga struggle with that salty ass shit and then pour a cup of water in front of him while he trying to get that. That's some shit she be on. What the hey.
Oh my god. Anything else? That's the laugh. Here, tell me why I thought the wings were caramel and chocolate pastry or dessert. I'm truly horrified. Right. When you start off with just a drizzle of sauce, it's only downhill from there. For real. I guess this y'all first time watching Just and Mama. Oh my god. I really thought that... Oh, what the hell? I guess this is barbecue and what's this sauce? Anyway, that's all I have, okay? Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. There's a video that I did today. I only put it for my subscribers, okay? For my members. There it is here. It's Season 5, Episode 403, my take on AJ's accident, okay? I said some crazy stuff, so I put it for my members only. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for watching.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life.
You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.